And I will start sharing the screen. There's one more person in the waiting room, colleagues. If it's fine, all of you can see the screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot see the chat anymore, but Mirella is taking care of the chat. So if anything is needed, you can reach out there. Okay, so I propose we get started. Another time, good morning to all of you. Very happy that we're together. It's been a while. We have been working very hard with the steering committee of the European Network of Focal Points. And we know that it's a very busy year for all of us. With the 20th anniversary, the European Heritage Day is focusing on living heritage. The Wiki Love Living Heritage, where many people are taking initiatives and so on. But all the more there might be a need to exchange and to talk about the activities we're doing, to learn from each other, but maybe also to exchange on things where we can help each other. So on behalf of the steering committee, I'm very happy that we could organize this. And Lena and Joanna will welcome you on behalf of the steering committee.
Hello, everyone from sunny Finland. It's really nice to see you, colleagues. It's been a while, with some of you met in Morocco, but the year is running, and as Soran mentioned, it's a very busy year. But I mean, I think we all feel quite motivated to work together. I remember back to those old times that we only used to meet in UNESCO meetings. And again, then it was all about the committee or General Assembly agendas, and maybe we could exchange something on the corridors, but I think it's really valuable that we are now connected through different means by these events that we organize, or then the different communications technologies you will hear in a minute. But we in the steering committee, we meet like on once a month or something, and I think we have found really something meaningful to do here together, since it is the anniversary and also the European Heritage Day, celebrating living heritage, and also the campaign that we're working on. So at least me, and I think the steering committee members will agree that it's been really motivational to work on this, because I really think that we are a big bunch of colleagues in Europe and also elsewhere in the world, and we are often sort of rolling the same machine. And I think here it's really important that we share what we're doing and share the good practices and inspire each other. And that is exactly what today is about. Joanna, shall I let you continue?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello from Romania. And I'm very happy to see you again. I think we have around 2 years since we started. Actually, we just finished 2 years ago our main connection, which was preparing for the periodic report. And it's great that after 2 years we are still together and we are going to continue on that, especially because I think that we are the human connection between our grassroots communities and the convention. And I think the way the convention is going forward, and especially with the, as you may know, the expert meeting in Stockholm that happened just 1.5 weeks ago, I think this is the way forward for us and the convention to have this connection between us. The plans are going obviously to be disseminated to you from the Secretariat this year, and we'll meet in July probably for the open-ended intergovernmental group to discuss that. But I can just share a little bit of that. The convention, the Secretariat wants us to connect more, wants us to have a platform where we can share directly information, ideas, inspiration, projects, and plans. So that's why our group and our role is very important for the future of this convention and for obviously living heritage in Europe. So welcome.
So great to have started with that. I think our next speaker is Nikolai, who wants to share also on behalf of the steering committee some more on the communication and the efforts that have been done there. There has been done a huge job in that regard. Nikolai?
Hello, dear colleagues. It's really wonderful meeting you, although through the screens. briefly about the, how to say, large amount of work and communication that has been going on in relationship to communicating the results and the processes of our activities. These communication activities of the network were based on the idea of open, professional, and wide distribution about the information, the abundant information related to intangible cultural heritage and activities going on throughout the region. Within the past year, we developed several different forms of informing about the work of the network through emails, memos, meetings, and presentations during the General Assembly and the Intergovernmental Committee Facebook group, and also periodical issues of the newsletter. Members of the steering committee were involved in different activities related to communication with specific share on behalf of some of the colleagues. With regards to the Facebook group, this was one of the activities, communication activities that was undertaken in the course of this past year. It was a form envisioned to deepen and widen the possibilities of sharing information about events through this particular program, although it is still in its beginning. Although their different colleagues are having how to say, different approaches to the social media, still we find it useful and good tool to share ideas and events and information within the circle of this group. So it's although it's, as I said, it's still in the beginning, it's about to flourish. We are sure about that. But the major focus in this past year fell on the developing of a newsletter to reflect on this diversity of materials and activities running around and involving many of us into. So we, according to the initial idea and design, this is a newsletter that is supposed to appear 4 times per year, and we made the call for the first issue in the fall of last year, and around the beginning of this current year, we were almost ready and prepared the first issue. It was spread among more than 100 people in the region, but I'm sure it reached many more through the personal individual networks that members of the European Network of Focal Points are themselves involved. And many colleagues from the region already in the 2 issues that have appeared contributed with their news on projects, initiatives, events that they wanted and did share with others. Already in the very beginning, with regards to the first issue, this core group from the steering committee was joined by volunteers from the network of focal points. So we had also Cristina Biazetto from Austria and Sophie Mueyer from Belgium, who joined the team, and we really made a very strong and enthusiastic dynamic team of editing the newsletter. The structure, I'm sure you all had a look already, but just in a nutshell, followed the idea of presenting in a separate group events related to safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage in the region. projects, many projects more or less known and deserving to be presented to the network are all forming a separate group in the newsletter. And also publications in different countries, in different languages, publications related to intangible cultural heritage and its safeguarding. After the launching of the first issue of the newsletter in the beginning of this year, the end of February, we started the preparation of already with the second one with a new design. MailChimp format, very dedicated work and inspiring work on behalf of Christina Biazetto from Austria, who also has the technical skills and was kind enough also to teach us and introduce us to some of the new possibilities offered for by technologies for such a format. We, in addition to the to this MailChimp format, which was distributed already last week by email, and we believe all of you have received it. There is we envisioned also the possibility of a long version PDF, which you may download directly from the email. We changed a bit the format, introducing news and meaning upcoming events as how to say, warning and preparation for things that are about to happen. And also we kept a separate rubric of reflection on past events which have taken place and deserve being noticed, being noted, being shown and as experience to share with others. Something very important in addition to these rubrics and this slightly updated structure, we involved a separate rubric on new entries on national inventories. It's in the last slide, which gives a possibility also of updating members of the network about new entries that are appearing in the different national inventories. And overall, through the different rubrics, basically forthcoming and past events in the second issue particularly, but also we started it in the first one. We took the opportunity of promoting and informing about the events related to the anniversary of the convention, and also of this great idea and set of activities related to Vicky Love's Living Heritage. In addition to all this, we are already in preparation of a website, and this is something that will come as an expected surprise very soon, as an additional opportunity for the members of the network to share and to read and get informed about ICH related activities. So we very much hope that you enjoy reading the materials. We did enjoy very much editing and processing them, reading about your work. And thank you very much to all those who already contributed, and in advance to all those of you who are going to contribute. We are sure that the number will be growing. Feel free to distribute it all around your network so that to gain more publicity and how to say, just a spread of information about the great work that all of you are doing. And we are looking forward to receiving your inputs for the third issue, which is with the deadline of 10th of July, and it will be a summer issue with reflections on activities and forthcoming events by that time. Thank you very much, and we continue communicating in between for the time ahead.
Thank you so much, Nikolai, for updating us on all the work that has happened not only by the steering committee, but indeed by other focal points and volunteers in the network, which is really great. And the first issue was still quite light, but I think we're all learning which kind of contributions we can make from our countries to share them in through this newsletter. And also we just want to encourage you, even the ones that do not use Facebook so often, but to share even in local languages your activities in the Facebook group and so on, so that we can see what all of us are doing for safeguarding living heritage in the different countries. We also invited the Secretariat. They are not available today, but they did send us a video. So I will stop sharing the slides now and share the video that Tim Curtis has sent to greet us all. And now let's hope that you all see it. Is it fine? Yeah. That the sound works well. It's not starting. I will close it and open again if it's not working. Give me a second. Okay. Now I try again. Not starting still. Another try. Sorry, colleagues.
As usual, everything works when you rehearse.
Yeah, it did work in a minute ago.
Shall you try if it works if you're not sharing? Is it opening then?
Let me have a look.
Could it be that the sharing confuses it somehow?
No, it's not playing at all. I will stop the player and try again. And otherwise we show it later.
Yes,
There
one more try.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear.
Okay.
We hear him.
Yeah, it should be working. I will try to share the screen again.
Colleagues, although I can't be with you today, it is really a pleasure for me to address you through this short message and send you warm greetings from UNESCO and the Living Heritage entity here in Paris. It's very encouraging to see the enthusiasm and the positive energy that have led to the creation of the European Network of Focal Points for the 2003 convention. And this has already generated a lot of interesting ideas and projects. One recent one, for example, was the global campaign Wiki Loves Living Heritage. And of course, we look very much forward to seeing how that unfolds. As you all know, 2023 is a particularly important year for us in the Secretariat and for all of us working on intangible cultural heritage, as it marks the 20th anniversary of our 2003 convention. So it's a great opportunity to take stock of the convention's achievements so far, but also, and importantly, to try and reflect on the directions that this unique international instrument should take in the coming decades. And I know that many of you are preparing lectures, publications, or various events to mark this important milestone in the life of the convention. And therefore, in order to collect and show the diversity and richness of the actions emerging around the world in conjunction with the anniversary, we've just recently launched an online platform, a web page on our website dedicated to the 20th anniversary. And I'd like to invite you to visit it and to encourage yourselves, your networks, NGOs, as well as, of course, as the practitioner communities, to join us by using the dedicated logo and sharing their experience with us so that we can feature it on the platform. Indeed, we count on all of your support to make the 20th anniversary a loud reminder that we are all living heritage. As you know, also in December last year, the Intergovernmental Committee examined the first cycle of periodic reports on the implementation of the convention in the Europe region. And it's very encouraging, and I'm very pleased to inform you that we've recently received the 2 last reports, and that we've now have an unprecedented 100% submission rate for the reporting cycle in Europe. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for all of the hard work. And I know it was hard, but it will help us generate for the first time ever data and comparable data on safeguarding living heritage in Europe in a much more systematic manner. So an extended analytical report will be presented at the next session of the Intergovernmental Committee, which is to take place in Kasane, Republic of Botswana, from the 4th to the 9th of December of this year. Furthermore, the key findings will also feed into the global report on cultural policies, which is a commitment adopted by ministers of culture during the 2022 UNESCO World Conference on Cultural Policies and Sustainable Development, also known as Mondiakut. There are also many other things happening this year. Just recently, the reflection process on the broader implementation of Article 18 started, and a group of experts met 2 weeks ago in Stockholm, Sweden, to explore how to better share good safeguarding experiences and how to make the voices of communities and their aspirations for the living heritage better heard. The meeting laid the groundwork for the upcoming open-ended intergovernmental working group, which will meet from the 4th to the 6th of July this year at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. We're also working hard to further strengthen the capacity building program, and in particular by expanding the global network of facilitators. So to welcome the new 94 facilitators, 26 of whom are from Europe and North America, we organized a series of introductory webinars, which will now be followed by the regional training of trainers. The one for Europe will be held in October, and we will work closely with partners. And share with you more details soon. So it's an exciting year ahead, and I'm personally inspired to know that the European network of focal points for the 2003 convention is fully engaged in making it a memorable year. I congratulate the organizers for making this meeting possible and for all of your commitment to the safeguarding of living heritage. Please be assured that we stand ready to support you in your endeavors. So without any further ado, I'd like to thank you once again for giving me the opportunity for a few words, and wish you all a productive discussions. I very much look forward to learning about the next actions of the network. Thank you very much.
So after these very encouraging words for the network on behalf of the Living Heritage entity, we will now dive into some of these subjects. We chose 3 to have 3 chapters this morning. We will first address the Wiki Loves Living Heritage activities and learn from some experiences and initiatives in the network. After that, we will have a look at the European Heritage Days and what's happening. And then we will have a look at the anniversary activities. For all of these, we have colleagues that will be sharing some of their initiatives. And after that, we have some time for other issues and of course also for exchange. So we will go into breakout rooms in the last part of the meeting. And then you can choose which topic you want to talk further with colleagues. And we come back for a closing word by 12. But now I will give the word to Lena, who will start with the chapter on the Wiki Loves Living Heritage. Lena, it's up to you.
Thank you, Joreen. If you still share the slides, so I remember what I was supposed to say here today. But just to say thank you all who have already been showing some signs of positive reactions, either all the way when when this idea was still quite a small baby, and it's been growing here along the way as we go. But if you put Joreen the next slide, so just to remind you, I mean, we are with this campaign supporting the 20th anniversary. This is a wonderful opportunity to make living heritage more visible. And we think that by cooperating together with the Wikimedia community, this can really be possible. So it was officially launched in March. Some of you participated in the event. So it is an idea that was born among the ENFP, but together with the under the coordination of Avoin Glam and Susanna Ones, to whom I will soon give the word, with Wikimedia Foundation, Council of Europe as part of the European Heritage Days initiative, and then also UNESCO supporting us. So it was truly wonderful to have the campaign highlighted in the UNESCO Living Heritage Entity News, and kindly also approaching to colleagues all over the world by their email networks. So far, we've been supported by many countries in Europe and in Canada. So once more, a warm thank you to all those colleagues who have been courageous to put some funding on the process as well. In the next slide, this campaign is basically about getting connected and seeing what you can do. Some of you are maybe more familiar with the Wiki world, and for some of you it is about the Wikipedia, but here in this set of logos, just a small reminder of what a huge community are we talking about, and about the global community. So the key here really is to find your colleagues in your own country and to see what you can do. So we have also been here in Europe introducing colleagues to each other. So under those working with the 2003 convention, working with the European Heritage Days, and also in the Wiki communities. In some of the countries, the initiator may be the ICH people, in somewhere the EHD people, or the Wiki communities. And we do understand that not everyone has the time and resources to contribute to this campaign, but it may well be that actually it's the Wiki community who gets really excited about this campaign. So we think it's also good that you know what's happening there. And if not this year, then maybe it can open up avenues for future cooperation for the years to come. There are various ways to participate, and in our emails and in the website, we will once more link to the chat. There are some of the ideas, but really the best way is to connect with your colleagues and to see what is possible and doable and favorable in your own country. So it can be about documenting living heritage, or then importing media collections, editing events, hackathons, social media campaigns. This campaign can really take many kind of forms, and as Susanna will soon tell, they can also then get visibility in our own website. Lastly, I want to highlight the notion of ethical sharing. So that's been one of the key points in our campaign, and there is an international working group. Jaren, if you change the slide, there is a working group on that, and then also on 14th of April, we organized a webinar with almost 200 people registering for the event. If you missed it, if you really want to learn more about it, the video is available online. But one of the wonderful, very concrete outcomes is a set of inspirational card game with 36 cards and the 16 topics that you see there on the slide. And it is cards like this, sorry, at least in my laptop, it's rather small, but sort of how to get started and what are the ethical concerns we need to talk about it. And like this one here, how we identify the living community whose cultural heritage we are helping to safeguard by preserving and sharing our open data strategy. Some of these topics come close to your work, but then some of those come closer to the Wiki community's work. And this card set, we will also post the link to the blog. You can find it if you go to the main website that was just posted. Scroll down a bit. There is the first photograph is about this, and you can also share the card deck from there. Jaren, is it maybe already about the Finnish campaign in the next one? So maybe at this point, yes, if you don't go yet there, Jaren, But I would like to give the floor to Susanna Ones, our coordinator of the campaign. So Susanna, if you just want to briefly mention some of the points you want to highlight in the campaign, or maybe bring some of the examples that are already rising up in different parts of Europe and in different parts of the world. But Susanna.
Oh yes, hello for my part. I was typing my name and affiliation there in the chat, but I never arrived, so I will do it here in person. So hello, I'm Susanna, and I work at Avoinglam in Helsinki, and I'm the project manager for this Wiki Loves Living Heritage. And I have not really prepared anything, and I am most interested in hearing from you about your interests and already experiences about this collaboration and questions that you may arise. But one of the issues, because we are working together with this knowledge sphere, the wiki sphere, that it is also about producing knowledge, sharing that knowledge, and then taking these ethical considerations while we do it, and then doing it together and in a sustainable and good manner. And for that, I want to also mention that Creative Commons was a partner in this ethical sharing workshop, and we are in close contact with them, but they are not officially a partner yet, I heard them say. So it may also be that there will be more branches to this. Anyway, one of the issues that you may have been thinking about is the sharing of the data and the inventories, and why would it be done? And if you go to see the pages on the website, that produces visual displays of all your these heritage elements together, and allows to use these displays to post photographs to contests, for example, and many other ways that you may come up with. But anyway, I'm not going to take more space here now. I'm going to save time for discussion later, and you can maybe even ask something at this point. I don't know if there's time.
I think we need to, yes, I mean, if there are some questions arising, but Susanna, you could also put your email once more to the chat box. Yes. So this nice person is helping you out and replying you to your questions, be they technical or be them about whom can I contact and what does this actually mean and have you heard about this? So Susanna is there to help you.
I'm giving the project email, so
yes,
not my private.
I could maybe still here tell a bit about the plans in Finland before I give the floor to Christina and Valentina. So we in Finland decided to go for a photo contest. We've just recently had a round of for the national inventory, getting new texts and new elements coming in. But what we have never done is a photo campaign. So as part of this, we are putting them all together. So we are celebrating the anniversary, and me from the Finnish Heritage Agency coordinating that. But then we are also celebrating the European Heritage Days theme year. So we are partnering with the Ministry of Environment and then the Federation of Local Heritage Associations, who is running that. So we really think it's a win-win that we are able to put all these three things together under the campaign. We are launching the campaign on Europe Day, which is Tuesday next week. And it will be closed on the 10th of September. You maybe remember that the sort of the high peak of the EHD year is the first week of September. So we look forward for the photos to come in also during that week. So basically we are encouraging through press releases, media campaign, boosting social media throughout the campaign, the whole summer, to take photographs, to publish them with the hashtag We Are Living Heritage, Wiki Loves Living Heritage, and so on, encourage them to upload them to Wikimedia Commons. And this is possible so that you go and complete the information or visual information around the elements on the national inventory, or then any kinds of living heritage. Best photos will be awarded with gift cards, and then also we are participating in the European-wide contest, which I maybe think, Joreen, you will mention a bit more in a minute. But this is our practical thing. And Suvi, our intern, if you kindly link the Finnish website, so you can go have a look how we're speaking about this, what kind of rules do we have in the competition and so on. And feel free, if you're thinking of going this way, don't hesitate to contact me and I'll be happy to tell you more. So sharing is caring. But now, is it then maybe Kristina Biasetto, colleague from Austria, telling something about their plans under the campaign?
Yes, thank you. And good morning to all the colleagues. It's nice to see you again. Well, our plans are, well, we first contacted our Wikimedia Austria group, and they were very enthusiastic about the whole idea. And fortunately enough, they already had some plans for ICH. So on the connected to the topic of ICH, which was a photo walk with their Austrian wiki community at the indigo dyeing facility here in Austria. We have two, so one of them, and they do it now under this as well, under this or in cooperation with us under the topic of the 20-year anniversary. So this is already one of the fixed plans which we shared on the Wiki Loves Living Heritage campaign website, and there is another already settled collaboration, which there is the WikiCon this year for German-speaking Wikipedia members of this wiki community, around 300 people, which will happen in Upper Austria this year. And we were invited to present living heritage to this whole community, which we're very happy about. So these were two easy ways to combine something that is already planned from their side. So I highly encourage you to connect with their wiki communities, because you never know what they actually have in plan that could just be very simply connected to this anniversary. And to what it also started was that they encouraged the current community to re-update some of the Wikipedia entries. So I became an author now too. I learned how to become a wiki author and updating Wikipedia entries that have been there for many years to really update on all the Austrian content and international content in German. And they also encourage their current wiki partners again to reflect and relook at these web pages to update them. So that was also a very helpful step, just for an update on existing pages. And lastly, we are thinking, well, this is still in debate, to do something Lena has presented, unfortunately, currently without the involvement of the European Heritage Days, but for a photo web to just generate new Wiki Commons license-free pictures on many of the elements. Some have already pictures on the Wiki Commons, but on Wikidata sites, but some have not, and this could be a good possibility to encourage also to use our network of practitioners of intangible heritage to send pictures and possibly instruct them also how to upload it themselves, just in relation to pictures and data. So this is what we have planned for this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kristina, and wonderful ideas. I mean, one of them to get more visibility or to get more visual images on the elements that you already have either in UNESCO or then in the national inventories. But really this, that the Wikimedia chapters and communities, they are really active, and they probably have events planned already for the year, but it may well be that the idea of living heritage well fits into this. And actually that was the way this campaign was born. I was quite jealous last year looking at all the big headlines about Wiki loves monuments. And I was like, why couldn't it be living heritage? So I think our campaign is also now a way to sort of sensitize the Wiki community for the living heritage. They are, I would say most of them, if not all of them, really into heritage anyhow, but then to open up avenues to the direction that we are working with the convention. Thanks a lot. Valentina, are you there? Would you like to tell some updates from Italy?
Thank you to invite me. Very happy also to meet Susan Agnas, which will help us to be more efficient in our action. In Italy, there is a problem of internal coordination between facilitator, focal point at the moment. Then it's a little difficult to build a team, but I am trying. We are trying to do it. We have two main action which are in a starting stage, which are the participation to the good practice of Tocati, which was inscribed this year, and we are planning to connect a lot of local action to the wiki labs with sharing photo and event at the local level, and also to invite all these communities to celebrate in September during the Tocati Festival for the 20th anniversary of the convention, a big event. And I think that we will try to be really in connection, because it is also in the period of the European Heritage Days, to try to connect the 20 years of the convention with the Wiki Labs and the European Heritage Day. Donc we are trying now with the colleagues of the Tocati team to build something interesting and to send you also for the next newsletter some update. And a second initiative is in Lombardy region in Milano, and it will be an event on the topic of the sustainable development and living heritage with the Alpine colleagues of the Alpine Arc, several countries of the Alpine region. We are still trying to build the program, but the idea is really to invite all of you to participate in this event in November, then before our meeting for the Intergovernmental Committee. And we are now trying to organize like a festival with a lot of poster. It is a cheap festival. I don't know if you know, but I am sharing it in the chat of public art on the key concept of the convention. Then we will try to send you also some news. We are at work with the Lombardy region and also other partners to try to, we are late because it is a crazy period with a lot of of things, but these are the two events that I will try to really, and it is interesting because in the case of the Lombardy region, we organized for the 10 years of the convention, an event 10 years ago, and now we want to launch an invitation to all the people present there, a network of accredited NGOs from Europe and from Italy, and also facilitators, and of course also the focal point, which are with us working on nomination to the Good Safeguarding Practice Register, but also more in general for the convention. Then these are the two events, and a lot of you will be involved. And two events in Italy, in Verona, the first one, and in Milan, the second one. And I hope that we will be in time to really share all this initiative with you and to propose this platform for sharing. And I will write to Susan also to try to understand how we can be more efficient in the communication. And
thank you.
To weak class. And thank you so much for all this important work we are doing for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentina. Really nice examples of how to combine efforts here again. But Jaren, please, you take the floor.
Okay, maybe you will hear my bird singing. Sorry for that. It's spring. From the side of the European Network of Focal Points and the Wiki Loves Living Heritage, which we have been promoting from the very start, we thought it would be nice to also create a campaign for the network or for Europe that gives, on the one hand, more visibility to what we are doing as a network, but on the other hand, that also invites all of you to join in a concrete action if you maybe don't have an action yet yourself, that it gives you an opportunity to do it at least through the network, so that we create, again, as much as possible, these kind of win-wins. The idea we have come up with, and that will be launched with concrete details in the coming weeks. We are working on it now with Susanna and Lena to get it more concrete, and with the steering committee to have a look at it. But the idea is that we will launch a photo campaign. Wiki loves safeguarding living heritage in Europe, so we try to contribute to this idea of, here it's not the elements that are at the heart, but the safeguarding and how people transmit, how people have the intergenerational transmission, which kind of safeguarding actions are we developing in all our countries, and thereby also contributing to this whole idea of the register, of course. So the photo will be mainly, the campaign will be mainly focusing on the safeguarding aspect, and to dive into maybe all the pictures and the photos you have already from different activities, to share this also in the Wiki Loves Living Heritage platform. We will explain later in a dedicated webpage how you can do it with a hashtag or with a specific form where you can upload these. Susanna is looking for that, but it will be quite easy. And the focus will be on this safeguarding aspect, so that in the end of the campaign, we would start by June. We would have it run until 15th of September. For every country that wants to contribute, there will be a set of pictures focusing on this safeguarding. And then each of you as a focal point or as a team within your country, you can have a look at the pictures from your country, and you can propose 3 of the pictures that you find best reflecting those principles. And these will be shared in the whole campaign. We will make sure that they get visibility. And then we would organize one jury for the whole of Europe that selects the 3 best pictures reflecting the contest as a whole. But the idea is, let's not have a contest where only like 7 countries or something would win, but no, let's all have a winning picture for the countries, so that we show the diversity of activities in Europe. And it's more like an invitation to all have a look at the kind of safeguarding photos that we have, and to share them as well in the wiki environments. I don't know, Lena or Susanna, you want to add something to this?
This is good, I think. Thank you.
Okay, great. So more information will come soon, and I give the word back to Lena.
Not to me, it was for someone else at this point, I think.
Okay, then I will just say that Lena has to leave us in a minute because she will be driving to another meeting. But Lena has been very active, so I want to thank her on behalf of all of you and the steering committee. And feel free, of course, to go when you need to go.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. This makes the first chapter round. I don't know if anyone, before we go to the next part, has a question or something to share. Feel free to do so. Not yet. We will have the breakout rooms later on and some space, but if you have any questions, you will be welcome. Then we go to Joanna, and Joanna will lead you through the European Heritage Days activities.
Yes, thank you, Irene. Thank you, Lena. We are going to continue to hear about initiatives that could inspire us. And we are talking about another very important type of event that happens this year. And as you may know, the European Heritage Days, which is an initiative of the Council of Europe, started in 1985. Also, the European Union connected with this initiative in the 1999, I believe. And as you may know, this happens every September, every year in September, but because the entire year could be connected with this emblem of the European Heritage Days, some of our colleagues already started on doing events, and we are going to hear about the initiatives happening in the Netherlands and in Croatia. So it's very nice that we have here with us Susanne Verburg from the Dutch Center for Intangible Cultural Heritage. And Susanne is going to tell us about the things that happen in the Netherlands. Please, Susanne.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, we are mostly doing activities in the weekend in September, but the work is already very much started. I am not myself involved in this project, but my colleagues of mine are very much so. And they worked very hard in close cooperation with Nederlands Monumentenland, which is directly translated as Netherlands Monuments Lands. So this is a nationwide organization who is organized by local committees. And these committees organize activities in their cities, in their villages. So my colleagues introduced these committee members to the concept of ICH and all the possibilities that it offers. And I must say, at first, many committee members were not so enthusiastic about it, because they were like, do we have to do this as well? It's so much extra work. But my colleague just kept going on how the tangible and intangible can be connected. And now, after 3 whole days of introducing and answering questions about intangible heritage, many of them are very much seeing the opportunities that ICH is offering and are very enthusiastic about it. So it was at first a bit of a challenge to convince them, but now we really see that it paid off the work. Funny to notice is that in the Netherlands, living heritage is very much associated with historical animal races. So that was also a hurdle that we had to overcome. I don't know if that's in your countries the same issue, but now everyone understands it's about people. So that's the main activities for the weekend, for the really European Heritage Days in September, are mainly organized by these committees, and we as the Dutch Center are more of the advisors on ICH and always open for questions for them. But because it's a very special year for the 20th anniversary of UNESCO, for the first time there is also an opening event, and that's on the Friday before the weekend, and it's in the city of Zwolle. And they organized a open monuments night. So it's really to open up to a bit of a younger public also, and really much a public event to stimulate participation in ICH and already visiting some monuments who are also opened. And what I've understood is that it's really about performances by communities in music, in ringing bells and circus artists. You can participate in crafts. There's a blacksmith. So there are really many. So the whole night in Zwolle is about intangible cultural heritage to already celebrate the European Heritage Days that are coming up the rest of the weekends. So yeah, that's in short what we are doing here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, thank you, Susanne. This is great. It's great to also share information about the challenges that we have to overcome, especially since, as Lena was just saying, that she was envious on the fact that the monuments got more attention from the Wikimedia Foundation. Actually, in your case, it was a real proof of that, real evidence of how we have to explain to people the connections, why not, between the tangible and the intangible. And I think it's a great idea. And I think it's very challenging for you to answer to the questions that people have. But maybe sometimes we don't even know how much or what we have to explain about what living heritage is. And I think Valentina was just saying about explaining the key concepts of the convention. So it's kind of the same that happened in your case. And I feel I feel it's very fulfilling for us to answer to the questions that sometimes people don't ask. They say, oh,
Yeah.
why is this about horses, about animals?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have realized that. I don't think we have the same problem in Romania. But it is interesting that there are questions being asked and answered.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. This is great, Susanne. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And we continue with Mirela. Again, I think in Croatia, many things are happening in many types of events. And Mirela is going to concentrate now on the European Heritage Days and how they are planning and how they are connecting institutions and people to do it, to plan ahead of the September month. Please, Mirela.
Okay, thank you. Yes, well, first, before I go into our program for European Heritage Days, I would like to just point out that we have made a small calendar of events. It's just very simple. It goes by months, and we named actually the events that are taking place all over Croatia, which are co-funded by our finances from the Ministry of Culture. So in this way, we are also trying to raise the awareness that people can think about their own programs, and they are actually the ones who should be active, not so much institutions, but actually communities, NGOs, and so on. So in a way, this is also raising visibility of some of the projects which are not that much pointed out. For example, those are some events which are not connected to UNESCO listed heritage and so on, but it is more or less what is in our national register. We also hope that this will be inspirational for those who will in the future apply to get listed in our national inventory. So this is this calendar of events. We are sharing it also on our Facebook page of the Ministry of Culture, and I see that people also like to share on their Facebook pages and other social media. Okay, then the next slide is about our European Heritage Days. Well, since 2016, Croatia has been including intangible cultural heritage events into the calendar of events for the European Heritage Days. And it goes from June and July. So the whole summer people apply what they are going to do during September and October, which is actually the 2 months that we are concentrating on. That is why we also made this calendar of events, which is not connected to the European Heritage Days, so to cover the other months. But here in Croatia, we are following our tradition to present what is going on in autumn. So people apply with their events on the contact, which is given on our web pages of the Ministry of Culture, and more or less communities already know how to include. They share among each other this information, and we are also contacting some of those communities and NGOs to join, especially this year, as it's going to be connected to the living heritage, which is going to get a special part of the brochure, which is going to be prepared. So we are going to a little bit maybe make some texts more about the overview of what has been done in the last 20 years and so on. So basically, this is what we can do. And of course, there are some other events in Croatia that are marking the 20th anniversary of the convention, as well as some of the European heritage in general. So those would be conferences, roundtables, various sorts of presentations of ICH and regular ICH events throughout the year. So we are also attending those, trying to come from the Ministry of Culture to raise also this festivity, this note that we are actually seeing those communities, and then they get even more motivation to continue their work as more or less it goes into the voluntary work. So people need to have this kind of more motivation from our side to get going and continue nice things with safeguarding of ICH. So if anybody has any questions, I'm open also to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mirela. I think I almost want to go to Croatia in September and visit some of the places where things are happening.
You're very welcome.
Yes, it's great and close by, at least for me. It is, of course, it happens a lot in many countries that these directions, different labels, European Heritage Days, the convention anniversary, and so on, are overlapping, which is quite nice and interesting. And it encourages us to definitely go and reach the coordinator for the European Heritage Days in our country. As the same with the living Wikilove's Living Heritage, we have to coordinate with the people from the Wikimedia of our country. So it's all about connecting this year. So yeah, thank you very much, Mirela, for a good idea for organizing and having a calendar where people can see and reach information and disseminating the information for anybody interested, foreign tourists like me, or just people in the communities and people around the area. Thank you very much. I think we finished with this topic, and I'm going to give the microphone back to Jorien.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you for sharing this wonderful parts, learning a lot of what is happening and the European Heritage Days. And indeed, a lot is overlapping. I don't think it's an issue. It's just we focus on the 3 topics and we see how many things are linked indeed. And this will happen again, of course, in when we get into the 20th anniversary activities. We already heard Tim Curtis speak about the webpage that has been launched. I think many of you will already have seen it, but for those who did not, on the homepage of the UNESCO 2003 convention, on the top is now a 20th anniversary in orange or yellow font, where you can click and then you come on this webpage with some general information on the 20th anniversary, on activities that are being planned, on global events, and then also a part on how you can get involved. When you click on the Get Involved, first there is the invitation to share activities. I think many of us are still in the planning stage, also because the frame was not ready yet and is only now online. But I think as I hear the colleagues speaking today, that many things are coming up and getting concrete, so that we will be sending a lot there. There's also the procedure for the logo. And then there is a social media pack that maybe we can all try to use or apply to our activities. We've done an exercise already with the first slide of today's meeting to see how we could have the European network of focal points in this design. And I think we will all experiment how we can use the hashtags and the images and the design to be used on all the kind of social media things that we are sharing this year. So this is how it looks. It's a Trello board, or how do you call it, platform, where you can go and borrow the designs. If you have a colleague or yourself, you're handy in using these tools, it's just out there and you can start making your own versions. We did already an exercise for Flanders, so I shared this one. So the one of UNESCO, let me show. Oh, it has gone. It was there. Was here. You can see it on the cover picture. And then we made it into one of the images for the Flemish celebrations. It's one that we made. And just before we go to the other speakers, because we have quite some speakers, I thought I can also share some of the activities for the 20th anniversary that we will be doing. And as you see, we already try to apply also the design for the different activities. We have also kind of calendar. We will be translating it into English soon, and then I will make sure that it will also be reaching out to all of you so that you can have a look at it. But I can maybe invite my colleague Sophie, the focal point for Flanders, to explain the first activity. It's in our local language, it's in Flemish, but she can explain what the first activity is. Sophie?
Thank you, Joreen, and hello everyone. Yes, the Department of Culture, Youth and Media, so the Flemish Ministry for Culture, will be having an event next week, and we do that together with the Flemish UNESCO Commission. Each year, the Flemish UNESCO Commission has a networking event, and this year we make use of that to have a gathering of the UNESCO elements and practices from Flanders, so that are on the representative list and on the register of good safeguarding practices. So that's 12 elements and practices from Flanders on UNESCO lists. And so for the first time, within the context of this 20th anniversary, we will be bringing them together as a kind of a celebration, and as also a kind of an experiment, because up to now they have not had a lot of contact. Once they are on UNESCO lists, we sort of we no longer see them or hear them unless there is a problem or some sort of issue with them. And well, it would be much nicer to have like a positive approach. So that's what we will be doing next week. A networking event. We will talk about the reporting, the periodic reporting. We will give an analysis of that. We will talk about joint issues, things that they have all told us, and we will talk about joint challenges and issues for the coming years. And we will also be launching videos. The Flemish UNESCO Commission has made videos for each of them, and we will also launch this on that day. So we are very much looking forward to that and very curious to see what this will bring and what they expect from each other, from us, from the Ministry of Culture, from the Flemish UNESCO Commission, what we can do together in the coming years.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. So next to the UNESCO recognized elements and safeguarding practices network that will be launched, we of course also work together with the European Heritage Days, which is just like in the Netherlands, the Monuments Day is the title. So it's quite challenging, but we have a very good collaboration with the organizers in Flanders. And we are with the accredited NGO I'm director of, Workshop Intangible Heritage. We're coaching all the local activities that for the first time actually address also this topic of living heritage. Just at the moment now, there is an Africa Film Festival, which happens annually. And there's always a UNESCO prize by the UNESCO Commission. And this year, dedicated to the anniversary, it is dedicated to the topic of intangible heritage. So the winning film, it's a documentary, will be awarded next weekend. We have also our day of celebrating Long Live Intangible Heritage, which is an annual event where all actors and stakeholders involved in safeguarding intangible heritage in Flanders come together. And of course, also there we will celebrate them because it's their year, actually, this year. So the minister will be there and the president of the UNESCO Commission will say a word and so on. Then there is this video series on the UNESCO recognized living heritage that will be launched next week to the occasion of the UNESCO Day in Flanders. And we will have a large visibility campaign because there's still the need for lots of awareness raising and visibility, also for the concept of intangible heritage or living heritage. Just like in the Netherlands, living heritage in Flanders is a bit difficult because in the literal translation of living heritage to Dutch, people think of the animals. So we try to combine the two terms and we make it in a poster campaign that will be spread throughout Flanders, and over the summer we try to have the concept of intangible heritage more in the minds of people with a very sensual, sensorial photo campaign that will be there. And then there's, of course, a series of Wikilove's Living Heritage activities that we have been supporting from the very start. We will be integrating the wiki data of the whole Flemish inventory. We're looking to that with the colleagues of Sophie to have the Flemish inventory of intangible heritage and wiki data. We are also, just like in Austria, updating Wikipedia pages, but there we focus first on the UNESCO elements as a kind of pilot to see how that can work together with the heritage communities. And we will also have the photo campaign that is running every year, Wiki Loves Heritage. We will be focusing there on the living heritage for 2023. So this is like the calendar of activities for the anniversary that we are trying to roll out over the year. This was sharing from Flanders, but we're very happy to listen also to Mirena from the Sophia Center to tell something more. Mirena, welcome.
Hello, nice to meet you and to participate in this wonderful exchange of ideas and projects. So in the Regional Center for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in Southeastern Europe under the auspices of UNESCO, we have quite activities which are all under the 20th anniversary of the convention. First, we developed a logo connected with this year of celebration. It is developed by students and designed by them. So we use it to make visible this anniversary to all in our activities, and also when we have partnership with different cultural organizations when organizing different visibility activities. So all of our activities in our work plan are dedicated to the 20th anniversary. But I should mention first that we have now open call of our journal, which is Living Heritage Journal. The call is dedicated to the 20th anniversary and still open until the end of the May. So if you have interesting articles or papers which are dedicated to the university, please send it to be published in our Living Heritage Journal. Also, we are planning very big event, which is the 11th annual meeting of the Category 2 centers who work in the intangible cultural heritage field. There are 8 centers, Category 2 in the world. So we are meeting together in Plovdiv, which is also a former cultural capital. So we can exchange a lot of ideas and projects about our work in the world. So we also organized a very intensive cultural program also to celebrate this anniversary. Another project that we are developing in the regional center is documentation and presentation of the intangible cultural heritage, which is granted from our National Cultural Fund, and that's why it's some national projects where we have online seminars with different topics about documenting heritage, how to establish inventories to help the safeguarding process. So we have almost 19 participants from different NGOs, čitalište, museums, and universities. And before starting this seminar, we asked them if they're planning something about the celebration. It turns out that they're not aware of this event, so we will dedicate one lecture about how they could organize such an event and to give them ideas how they could celebrate locally this anniversary. So we have also planned a lot of activities under the team, capacity building workshop in Cyprus and Greece. Also in September or October, we will organize traditionally the training of trainers, when we will meet the new facilitators group from Europe. And also we will organize the 7th annual meeting of experts. And also I would like to add some other activities that we are preparing, we sent interviews, questionnaire about the university to participants in the facilitator group and experts from our member states with a question about their assessment of the implementation of the convention and how what is their experience in working in this field. So we are planning to publish these interviews in our website and Facebook page. So this will be the expert point of view of this celebration. So this is in brief. We are very happy to be in this group and to share different ideas and activities.
Thank you so much, Mirena. And from the Sofia Center, as ever, you're doing a lot for the European networking. I think we're all very grateful for that, and also very happy that, again, you're joining and looking forward, of course, as well to the training of the new facilitators for the European region. And thanks so much again. We also have a colleague from Germany, Helmut, is in the room, and he will be sharing also one of the activities for the anniversary.
Okay, fine, thanks. A warm hello from my side to you all. I'm Helmut Groschwitz from Germany. I'm a folklorist and I work as a heritage consultant and researcher at the Bavarian Academy of Sciences and Humanities. And I'm really a fan of ICH, also this network and all the wonderful activities I can join by video conference to learn more. In Bavaria, we are preparing a Day of Living Heritage in the Open Air Museum Bad Windsheim to celebrate 20 years of the convention, 10 years of the ratification by Germany, and also 10 years of the implementation of the Bavarian inventory. And this is the first event of that kind in Bavaria. And so thanks for the invitation. Just briefly, why are there different inventories of ICH in Germany? Since Germany is a confederation and culture is a task of the federal states, the cultural heritage communities apply for admission to the national inventory through their federal states. And as there are more applications from Bavaria as can be nominated for the national inventory, an own Bavarian inventory has been installed in 2013, bring visibility to all successful applicants. Please, can I have the next slide? The Open Air Museum in Bad Windsheim collects not only buildings and presents them to public, it is also renowned in the research on historical houses and the former living therein. And in the museum, there are presentations of traditional craftsmanship and agriculture on various occasions all over the year. What are we doing on the Day of Living Heritage? In the beginning of the day, there will be a ceremony with the federal states minister, members of university, the Bavarian evaluation body, and 2 beer groups. And the ceremony is framed by musicians from the Bavarian inventory. But most important, and this is the center of the activities, there will be 30 heritage communities all over the museum, and the museum is really a huge area. And the heritage communities presenting their skills and knowledge on crafts, on rituals and traditional agriculture or meadow irrigation, also performing music and theater. Then we give information and ICH and the application process to the public, just trying to raise awareness. And it is also a good opportunity for some research among the heritage communities to explore their ideas and needs. And I hope I will bring a lot of stuff back home, also photos and films. And we want to enable exchange between the communities, fostering knowledge on ICH and sharing strategies on how to manage and safeguard their ICH. And hopefully we can take some photos and maybe short films and then to bring them to Wikimedia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helmut. Also to make the link again with the different campaigns that are running, like the Wikiloves. We also have our colleague from Armenia, Naira, who will be sharing the initiatives there.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
Naira, can you speak loud? We don't hear you very well.
Loud? It's okay. I am in my workplace. That's why I speak a little bit. Okay. I would like to introduce special forthcoming event which will take place in Armenia. The Ministry of Education, Science, Culture and Sport at the Republic of Armenia and Hovhannes Sharambeyan Museum of Folk Arts organized the International Crafts Festival, which is scheduled to be held in Dilijan, that is small and a very nice town in Armenia, from September 30 to October 1, 2023, this year, dedicated to the 20th anniversary of the UNESCO Convention. Masters of folk art from different countries of the world are invited to participate in the festival, present their works in Dilijan, and conduct master classes. In Dilijan, Dilijan these days will become a center of crafts, national songs and dances, fairy tales, folk tales, delicious dishes, and unforgettable impressions. In the pavilions located in several zones, local residents and tourists will be able to be acquainted with the rich variety of national crafts of Armenia and invited countries and take part in master classes. Organizers of the event cover the travel expenses, the cost of accommodation, food, pavilion rental, and internet transfer for 10 invited participants from different countries. Due to the geographical and financial factors, priority will be given to masters from the following countries: Islamic Republic of Iran, Georgia, Greece, Cyprus, Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. The purpose of the festival is the foundation of new platform for establishment creative connections between interested structures and organizations, communities, as well as individuals to exchange experience and to form an intercultural dialogue within the framework of safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage. We intend to put this invitation and announcement everywhere. In this case also, the invitation and announcement will be available in the ENFP newsletter and Facebook page. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We would almost need a road trip through Europe in autumn, I have the feeling, with all of us to go from one festival to the other activity. It's really great to see all the activities that are being organized.
I invite you all to be present in that colorful event.
Yeah. It would really be wonderful. I hope. I'm just thinking that many of us will be so busy organizing that it will be difficult to travel everywhere, but let's try it all together. If everyone goes somewhere.
You're welcome.
Okay, and now we travel to Spain, actually. We have a colleague who joins, I think, for the first time in this occasion. It's Marta Duarte from Spain, and who will also share for a few minutes the activities in Spain. Marta, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. And it's a pleasure for me being here. I'm new, as you said, so it's a pleasure to meet you all. So from the Ministry of Culture and Sport in Spain, we're organizing different activities in order to celebrate this 20th anniversary. And they are very diverse, as you will see, and for all kind of people. So first of all, please, if you can pass the slide. We are launching a website which is under construction, but that will include all the activities we are doing, and also some information about the convention, the anniversary, and so on. When I finish my intervention, I will send the link just in case you want to check it. Then, please, next slide. Then we are editing a publication which will consist on different cards with basic information about the Spanish elements included in the representative list and in the good practice register. This photo is one that we edited last year in the 50th anniversary of the World Heritage of UNESCO as well, and it will be more or less similar with a map including the location of the different practices and the cards, as you can see above. The intention of this publication is disseminating this living heritage, and it will be online in our website once it's finished, and we would like to give it as a gift to the various communities included in this list and the cultural agents that will be at the end of the year in an event we're organizing with all these cultural agents in order to share our points of view and so on. So as activities, now for the next slide, please. Last 8th of March, in the context of the International Women's Day, we celebrated a webinar with the title, as you can see, Women as Bearer of the ICH, which consisted in hearing some of the experiences and points of view of these women's part of the bearing communities. For example, we counted with the experience of a professional whistler from the Gomera Island in Canary Islands, or women that were artisans themselves. So I think that this webinar was very, very enriching for all of us, and I invite you to see it if you like, because it's online as well. Then I will share the link. And for coming up activities, we will be present in Magic Book Fair, which is celebrating between the 26th of May and the beginning of June. And then we will do a photographic exhibition with representative photographs of our elements included in the list and in the register of good practices. Yeah, thank you. And as well, we will offer workshops to practice some of the elements that we have here in Spain. For example, as I said, we will count with the professional whistler from La Gomera, who participated in the webinar. Her and some of more professional whistlers will show the public how to whistle in this particular language from this island, and as well some groups of professional jota dancer, which is a typical dance from Spain, will show us how to dance and how to sing some of these typical songs and dances. And in this line, please, next slide. During the year, we would like also to offer as well public and free workshop in the different national museums all around Spain. For example, we are planning a flamenco dance workshop in Toledo in the Sephardic Museum, a Talavera pottery workshop for kids in American Museum, which is located here in Madrid, and we're planning more all over Spain. So, but we need to concrete this one. We are now organizing, so we will share it with you once we have all of these done and organized. So that's it. And if you have any questions, please write to me or well, yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Marta, again, for taking us in your country and the rich traditions that are there and how you try to celebrate them. And this anniversary is offering an occasion to have another perspective on it. It was really enriching to hear all of your contributions. I think now we have a small space in the plenary. If people do have questions, we could take some time. I will stop sharing because then we can see each other. And after having this open space, then we will create breakout rooms where you can really focus with some colleagues, for example, on the Wikiloves Living Heritage or the European Heritage Days or the anniversary activities, and exchange among you on this specific topic. But let's first open the floor if someone wants to share something in the plenary or contribute something to what has already been said. It's up to you. The floor is open. Yeah, go ahead, Hitis.
So we have also started our activities on commemoration of the UNESCO Intangible Heritage Convention, but we also have some activities connected not only to Lithuanian heritage, but as situation in our country is connected to people who had to leave Ukraine due to the war in their own land. So we took this sort of interdisciplinary approach, and we try to allow such people to cultivate their culture. So we have arranged several events where musicians could participate in a form of mixture of folk and jazz music. Also, we celebrate Ukrainian traditional culture by establishing a series of frescoes of their national costume on our building. So we also, on some of the buildings in our capital city, Vilnius. So we do this also to try to preserve the activities and traditional understanding, not only among, well, Lithuanian people, but also people who has come to our country temporarily to live. And we try not only to establish living conditions for them, but to cultivate their culture so they would not forget their traditions. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Susanna?
That brings to mind that we have also discussed with the European Heritage Days, with whom we are collaborating as well, that we would focus on two themes in addition to just generally living heritage. And one of them is crisis and war conditions, and that relates very specifically to the situation in Europe. And the other one is more broadly diaspora culture, which has many ways. Well, it is a different view on it is very much on living heritage, the way in which transfers in science.
It appears my internet connection was not stable for a moment. I hope you still hear me. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Yes, yes, we.
Yeah, so sorry. It appears I lost connection for a brief moment. I don't know. I didn't hear Susanna anymore, but I'm fully confident that that everything was fine. But I don't know if you had a question. If so, one of the colleagues can maybe react. If not, then I look further in the room. If there are any other persons that would love to share something or have a question.
I don't see any other colleague raising a hand, so probably nobody wants to add something at this moment. So I think, Jorien, we can continue with breaking out.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you, Joanna. I will start opening the rooms. I need to create them. I see I made them, but you will be able to choose yourself. I will quickly make 4 rooms. So one on the European Heritage Days, one on the anniversary, one on Wikilove's Living Heritage, and one for other questions. In any case, I will go to the other questions, so you can find me there. You will be able to choose them, and we can do it for about 15 minutes, and after that we will wrap up. So for the ones who are not acquainted, and the 3 dots on the bottom of your Zoom, you should be able to see the opening the rooms, and then you will be able to click on the room that you would love to join. I will open the rooms now, and I will call you all back when time has come. Are you able to choose? So colleagues from the steering committee, maybe let's try to spread a bit.
I have no option.
Can I send you somewhere? Where would you like to go?
To the Heritage Days, please.
Days. Okay, let me have a look.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Someone else has issues?
Yes, I don't have any options here.
Where do you want to go?
I don't mind. I mean, everything's fine with me.
No preference?
No.
Let me have a look. There's no one in the other
You
questions.
can balance the groups or something.
Sorry?
I mean, you can balance the groups.
Okay.
Everything's fine with me because all of them are going to be interesting enough.
There you go.
Thank you.
For the others, is everything fine? You want to go somewhere, Patrick?
Yes, maybe Heritage Days or 20th anniversary or other questions. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I will have you there.
Thank you.
We are making this big event at the beginning of the European Heritage Days in September, where we like open the days and then announce all the activities. But actually, as I've said, it's like dispersed activities throughout the country, yeah. and that's what we are aiming at both this year for the 20th anniversary and for European Heritage Days, so that we have a lot of sharing of ideas among people and so on.
Do you, Mirella, so it's basically your department, so to say, who organizes also yearly these European Heritage Days?
It's another department, but we are
but
communicating.
You collaborate.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And this year especially, we are going to make the introductory texts about the convention and what we have done, how many elements we have, and we'll try to put Wiki. I don't know now if colleagues will approve, but usually in recent months, I'm really happy because they're more like open. It took it took like 15 years to get this intangible heritage within the same kind of level with the other types of heritage. So it takes time, but yeah, we must be like persistent and talk about it all the time.
Okay. Because of Patrick, it's also one for the European Heritage Days. I read about your joining of forces in the newsletter. So you also, is it also a colleague from your neighboring department who coordinates the European Heritage Days?
Well, it is in fact the coordinator of the Heritage Department in the ministry itself. So that's of course more easy because if it were as it used to be years ago only in the Built Heritage Agency, then it would not be so easy to introduce this theme of living heritage, as we also heard from other countries. And we have also a trainee, that's very good. So the trainee then formerly has been at the National UNESCO Commission, and now she's then just for organizing the European Heritage Days in general, and we have some closing event at the end of the Heritage Week. We have a Living Heritage Week then, or the European Heritage Days are a week always in Luxembourg. So it's the 13th of, no, the 3rd of this September. So it's like we try to gather all the communities of all elements inscribed on our national inventory to one historic place. The former abbey is also UNESCO World Heritage to have this celebration. And I think the challenge is, first of all, also to get all the people together, but also, yes, to see if there are other bearers of other traditions that are not listed who would like to join. You have to see if we let them join for this closing event, or of course they can participate during the week because there it's also with built heritage and elements that are not inscribed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious how this is gonna get with all the meeting of all the bearers, because we planned this also this year, and I'm very curious when they all are in a room from several regions. They met when we handed them their certificates years ago, 11, 12 years ago, you know, many died in the meantime. They're new people. I mean, it's very bad to say, but people and how they meet. But for Paloma, how is it for you? Do you also have, you know, for the Heritage Days, do you have something planned? Because you spoke about the 20-year anniversary, and it seems like, you know, plan a lot from your ministry.
Yes, but I always forgot all the European Days activities because it's another department of our ministry for organizing these activities. In fact, this year, Spanish has the presidency of the European Union. So in the second half of the year, so we have organizing a lot of activities, and some of them dedicated to the living heritage year. I think it's in September we have the meeting of the Ministry of Culture from Europe, and it's dedicated to living heritage and ICH. So it's going to be very interesting to show all the ministry the richness of the ICH in Spain. But it's organizing by another department of the Ministry of Culture. And also we have another activities is organized by the Ministry of Presidency. Is we are creating some videos. It's very interesting, but it's a little bit difficult to explain. We are creating some videos with a YouTube. Okay. Yes, and videos dedicated to different elements of the ICH in Spain. So we are planning now. We are recording
They don't say this is possible, this is not impossible, this is not possible. And so this would be a great thing, maybe if there could be some exchange on the legal aspects. And it's also the European new copyright aspects since some years that brings a lot of headaches to us.
Yes.
To us. It's more easy for journalists to take photos and publish them, but there is no exclusion for science or for non-profit institutions, no exclusions for NGOs, for example, which would be a great thing.
Thank you so much. I will just very briefly respond. This is one of the main challenges that we want to tackle in this project, and there is no, the project cannot set, cannot solve it, but we can sensitize all the parties involved into considering all of these challenges and take consideration in sharing. And when there is consent from all the parties, and we are also trying to make a step in the photo upload process, which asks, or we have done it already, so it's going to be in test drive soon, that asks the uploader about the consent. And this, the result of that, the question will be displayed along the picture forever after. And so this is something I think quite elementary that we are trying, and it also already exists, but it is something that we want to develop through discussions over the course of this year. And maybe Joren, but just to make sure that everybody has time to speak, then just mention a bit, just briefly about the working group or the team.
You mean the ethics team?
Yes.
Yeah, I jumped in, of course, so I don't know where you were with this group. I'm navigating a bit to see if everything works well in the different groups. But indeed, from the side of the ethical concerns, I could say, from the ICH field, there is this whole intersection of the Wikimedia who have the open sharing principles, but also in a very conscious way. And then on the other hand, there's the ICH field where we have other sensitivities where we take care of. And the only way forward is to put these together and case by case, see what comes up, which kind of challenges come up, with which kinds of concerns come up as well. For example, in Flanders, our ministry, Sophie, she was quite concerned that if something is in the inventory, the official inventory in the country, and then suddenly people start changing texts, then actually that's not in the spirit of the convention. How can you integrate both? So this is also just a process we're doing together. So there, the only thing that we're now uploading is the Wikidata, which is a list of quite safe aspects, actually. Nothing can go really wrong on the ethical side, almost. And
but,
then
Joren, I think we have to ask 3 more people to talk about introduce their ideas. So we'll come
if there
back
are
to
any concerns, you can share them, and the ethical group will have a look both with the Wikimedia point of view and the ICH point of view, and we invite colleagues from the ICH field to help find solutions in this case.
Perfect. And you have the email address. Please, if you are interested, sign up for this group or join. Severin.
Hello. Listening to Joren, I should definitely join the ethical group if it's not too late, because it's really the kind of concern I do share. And to be honest, I expected to see here today my colleagues from the focal points from the French Ministry of Culture, but unfortunately they are not. Apparently they could not make it because I'm an independent consultant and UNESCO facilitator, but we have this kind of concern because actually there is the French inventory, national inventory, And there was this project of PCI lab, which means ICH lab. And I think it started like, maybe 5, 6, or even 7 years ago. So we have this kind of case. There is the official inventory sheet, and we have the one on Wikipedia, because yes, the PCI lab, it's a database, but who allows to navigate between, who allows to do what the official website does not allow to do, because you know, the official website from the Ministry of Culture, it's really strict and you cannot navigate or whatever. But also, so the PCI lab, it is connected to Wikipedia. So I think it is an opportunity, because of course, this was a question we raised many years ago. And so I think it's a great opportunity now to look at what's the result of this.
Thank you so much. I know that it's been very extensive, the work that the French have done, and I have made statistics of the articles, and the French are leading with over 700 articles about ICH in Wikipedia. Okay, thank you very much, Oceane.
I will then close the rooms after Oceane.
Okay, Nicola, you will. I have to be listening.
Oh, okay. Sorry, hi, I'm gonna be very fast.
Hi, Mirena.
Hi, I have to switch from computer to phone.
I appointed you to a room. Did
Yeah. Yes.
Everyone is coming back. I think we're all there. So Joanna, the floor is yours.
Yes, first of all, actually, before I say just a few words for closing this meeting, you're in our breakout room. It was a question, and maybe other people from the network would have the same question, because maybe some of us are not very skilled with using the Trello, the Trello platform. And because you have explained that you showed us that in Belgium you have done already a lot of pictures promoting the anniversary. Can you explain a little bit shortly how we actually use that, the Trello, and how you create the pictures and how you put the logo?
Yes, I did not myself. I have some of these wonderful colleagues who are very creative with this kind of, but for example, I see that there is Canva integrated. Canva is one of those graphical platforms where you can easily make a design also when you're not a designer. And they share it, and I think you can then quite easily, if you want to experiment a bit, adapt the colors, where you put it on your own picture, and so on. So I would just say experiment with it, and if you don't feel easy with it, reach out to us or to the colleagues, Joanna and Helena from the Secretariat. Yeah. They will be very happy to help you with it, I'm sure, because they want it to be used. And I think they try to make it as easy as possible for everyone, but of course, still this is not everyone is used to doing this kind of things, but it should be doable, as my colleague also succeeded.
So we have to be creative and, yes, as you said, to try. And probably we can upload any picture we want that shows, obviously, an example of living heritage. That's probably one of the mandatory things that I don't think we have a list of rules of how to use it.
Oh, it's very open, and also they tell you to use also your own language, so you can change also into your own language. And there's already a whole series of different languages in one of the columns of this Trello.
Thank you, Orin. And yes, we hope to see a lot of results of your experiments and working with Trello this year. So I hope you enjoyed the breakout rooms and you found colleagues and maybe new collaborations, why not, among members of the network. I think we had a very rich session and many things were being said and many things were heard, and we got inspiration. And I think it was very nice because I believe we had a very rich set of categories of actors with the convention, or stakeholders, from, of course, focal points and facilitators and regional experts and category to center. So this shows the power of the convention to connect on such different levels, from the grassroots level to the government level. And also the examples that were shared were also from the villages in the Netherlands, for example, to the great work done by the Ministry of Culture in Croatia and the ministry in Lithuania, for example. And also I enjoyed very much the fact examples were from the ethnic cultures at the local level to intercultural examples. And I enjoyed very much the invitation from Naira. And why not the examples of how to connect and encourage also the Ukrainian refugees, the ethnic culture of Ukrainians in Lithuania, and many countries, I'm sure we do that for sure. So I think definitely this meeting and our work together is going to could be put under the label "We are Living Heritage." As Tim Curtis said, the network is Living Heritage, and we are all colleagues and friends under this label. And please don't forget to put examples like the ones that were shared here by our colleagues on the Facebook group. I mean, we should continue what we've done in the last 2 hours, but using the platform not of Zoom, but of the Facebook group of the network, so we can continue this conversation and sharing examples. And don't forget about our newsletter and stay close to our steering committee events and other activities, and connect with each other. Definitely, this is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.